In this video, I'm about to expose hidden secrets fast food chains don't want you to know. Number 10. McDonald's Pink Slime Nuggets. Let's get real for a second. When you think of McDonald's chicken nuggets, you probably picture those golden, crispy little bites that melt in your mouth perfectly. Bite-sized, crunchy outside, tender inside. That's the image they've sold us for years. But peel back that crunchy coating, and the truth is, well, it's gross. For years, those nuggets weren't just chicken breast like the ads claimed. Instead, they used something called pink slime. Yeah, the name alone sounds like a bad horror movie. Scene. What is it exactly? It's leftover scraps, fatty tissue, tendons, gristle, sometimes even bone fragments, all thrown into an industrial grinder until it becomes a thick paste. And here's the kicker. That paste isn't safe on its own. McDonald's treated it with ammonium hydroxide, the same stuff used to clean floors and bathrooms to kill bacteria, like E. coli and salmonella. If you have to gas meat to make it safe, maybe it shouldn't be food? I remember back around 2010 when this scandal blew up. Parents were freaking out everywhere. In grocery stores, coffee shops, you could hear people whispering, "Did I just feed my grandkids ammonia nuggets?" Some stores even started putting up signs saying, "No pink slime here," just to calm people down. It became one of those weird cultural flashpoints everyone joked about online, but deep down, it made you want to gag. McDonald's eventually claimed they phased pink slime out, but let's not forget, they never admitted it until they were caught. That's the real red flag. The fast food industry thrives on secrecy and cutting costs wherever it can, and even after they supposedly fixed the problem, ex-employees still report nuggets being mass-produced in ways that would make you lose your appetite. Giant vats of chicken paste, pumped into molds to get that perfect boot shape. That uniformity isn't natural. It's pure industrial efficiency, designed for speed and consistency, not nutrition. And don't get me started on the oil. Nuggets are fried in oil that's often reused multiple times, loaded with trans fats, creating a recipe for clogged arteries rather than a simple family meal. Meanwhile, McDonald's commercials show juicy chicken breasts steaming out of the fryer in slow motion, but in reality it's scraps, chemicals, and salt being packaged into a convenient little bite. That's manipulation, pure and simple billions, spent keeping the illusion alive. So next time you're standing at the counter thinking about ordering nuggets, pause for a second. Behind that golden crunch is decades of cost-cutting, chemical shortcuts, and corporate deception disguised as comfort food. And once you know that, trust me, you'll never see a Happy Meal the same way again. Number 9. Burger King Whopper. The Whopper. It's the crown jewel of Burger King's menu, marketed with that sizzling tagline, flame grilled to perfection. Sounds good, right? You picture a juicy beef patty, cooking over open flames. But let me tell you, once you know what's really behind that patty, you'll never see a Whopper the same way again. First off, the 100% beef claim isn't as pure as it sounds. Those patties aren't made from premium cuts of steak. They're actually made from leftover trimmings, fat, cartilage, and connective tissue, all the scraps that don't get cut. These get thrown into massive industrial grinders and turned into a thick paste. That paste is then pushed through molds to create those perfectly even patties. And here's the kicker. Those famous grill marks you see, they aren't always from an actual flame grill. Many times they're artificially sprayed on with liquid smoke flavoring, so it looks and tastes grilled, even if it never touched a flame. Back in 2013, Burger King was caught up in the infamous horse meat scandal over in Europe. Tests revealed that some of their so-called beef patties actually contained horse meat. Think about that. Customers thought they were biting into one. 100% beef Whoppers, but in reality, they were eating something else entirely. Burger King denied it until the evidence became too overwhelming. That's how far the industry will go to protect its image. Former employees have admitted that expired patties sometimes still made it onto the grill. Instead of tossing them out, extra sauces or seasoning were added to mask the taste. As for the oil, it's reused over and over until it's practically black. So while the commercials show fresh, sizzling beef, the truth is often far less appetizing. Nutritionally, the Whopper is a bomb waiting to go off. One sandwich alone carries so much sodium that it can cover half of an adult's daily limit. Add in the industrial oils and trans fats. And it's not just a burger. It's a heartstring disguised as comfort food. That golden bun and smoky patty might look irresistible, but peel it back and you'll find industrial meat paste, chemical additives, reused oil, and scandals the brand works hard to bury. Once the mask slips, that Whopper will never taste the same again. Number 8. Taco Bell beef. When you think of Taco Bell, you probably picture a crunchy taco or a soft tortilla stuffed with that famous seasoned beef. It's cheap, fast, filling, and for a lot of people, a guilty pleasure on late nights. But here's the catch. What you've been calling beef all these years, well, it's not exactly beef. Back in 2011, Taco Bell was hit with a lawsuit that made headlines. Independent lab tests claimed that their seasoned beef was only about 35% real beef. The rest? A mix of fillers like oats, soy lecithin, maltodextrin, and even silicon dioxide. Yes, the same anti-caking agent used in industrial products to stop clumping. Imagine that in your taco. I'll never forget the time I grabbed a Taco Bell with a couple of friends late at night. First, bite in. I thought, this doesn't taste like ground beef at home. It was almost powdery, kind of synthetic. A few days later, the lawsuit story broke on the news, and suddenly it all made sense. That strange aftertaste wasn't just in my head. It was a cocktail of fillers and chemicals designed to stretch out a small amount of actual meat. And here's the part most commercials won't show you. According to former Taco Bell employees on Reddit, the beef doesn't come fresh. It arrives in sealed bags, frozen, and gets boiled in a tub. If it sits too long, managers allegedly tell workers just to add seasoning and stir it in. It'll be fine. So, those sizzling skillets you see in ads? Pure marketing magic. In reality, you're eating rehydrated, filler-heavy beef paste. Nutritionally, it's a bomb too, with sky-high sodium, preservatives, and additives that do your body no favors. Sure, it'll quiet your hunger for $1, but the hidden cost is to your heart and overall health. And let's not forget, Taco Bell only came forward to clarify their recipe after the lawsuit and public outrage. If people hadn't called them out, do you really think they would have volunteered that information? So unwrap that taco, think twice. What looks like simple seasoned beef is really the product of food science labs and cost-cutting tricks. It's less about feeding you and more about stretching profits. And that's the hidden truth fast food chains would rather. You never know. Number 7. Subway tuna. Subway has always sold us on the slogan, "Eat fresh." It sounds simple, clean, and trustworthy. And if there's one menu item most people associate with Subway, it's the tuna sandwich. You'd think tuna is the easiest, most straightforward filling on the menu, just some fish mixed with mayo, slapped between bread. But what if I told you the truth is way messier than that? Back in 2021, a lawsuit shook the whole brand. Independent lab tests claimed that Subway's famous tuna didn't even have tuna DNA. Not a trace. Instead, what they found was a strange mix of proteins that didn't match tuna at all. Some reports suggested it might be other cheap fish. Others hinted it was just fillers and processed paste dressed up with mayo. I still remember scrolling through Twitter when that story broke. People were losing it. One guy wrote, "So I've been eating mystery meat salad on bread this whole time, and honestly, that's exactly how it felt." Customers who thought they were picking something lighter suddenly realized they might have been scammed for years. And here's the part Subway won't brag about. Former employees have come forward saying that tuna doesn't come in neat little cans like you'd use at home. It comes in big bags, already mixed with mayo and whatever else is in there. If it sits too long, they don't throw it out. They just stir it up again and keep serving. That smooth texture, everyone thought was fresh. More food science than fish! And if that wasn't enough, the bread itself had its own scandal. In Ireland, courts ruled that Subway's bread had so much sugar it couldn't even legally be called bread. So in one sandwich, you've got tuna that might not be tuna, and bread that might not be bread. That's not just suspicious, that's straight up unsettling. Of course, Subway denied it all, saying their tuna is 100% real. But here's the thing. Big food chains rarely tell the whole truth until they're backed into a corner. Once the doubts are out there, it's hard to forget. When you bite into a Subway tuna sub thinking you're making a better choice, ask yourself, are you really eating tuna or just a story carefully packaged to look like it? Because once you know the truth, that creamy scoop doesn't taste so innocent anymore. Number 6, KFC's fried chicken. When you hear KFC, the first thing that comes to mind is that golden bucket of fried chicken, crispy skin, juicy meat, and that secret blend of 11 herbs and spices. For decades, it's been sold as comfort food, something almost nostalgic. But under that crunchy layer, the reality isn't appetizing. Here's something most people don't know. KFC's freshly made chicken doesn't always mean what you think it does. Former employees have spoken out, saying the chicken often arrives frozen in bulk bags, sometimes sitting for hours before being used. In some stores, if pieces are left under the heat lamp too long, workers are told to re-batter and drop them back in the fryer to make them look fresh. That hot leg piece you're eating? It might have been reheated a couple of times. And then there are the birds themselves. Investigations into KFC suppliers over the years have exposed shocking conditions in which chickens are raised in overcrowded sheds, pumped with growth enhancers to get unnaturally large in just weeks. Some reports even showed birds struggling to walk because their bodies grew too fast for their bones to handle. That finger-licking good crunch comes at a cost most people never see. I remember a video making the rounds years ago, grainy footage of a KFC supplier, where workers were caught kicking chickens and throwing them against walls. It was one of those moments where the brand tried to play damage control, but once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. And let's not forget the oil. Former staff have admitted the same oil is used for batch after batch, sometimes until it's thick and dark. Freshness in commercials? That's marketing magic. Reality is vats of reused grease that soak into every bite. The part that gets me is how carefully the image is crafted. Commercials show slow motion shots of steam rising, that perfect golden crust, happy families gathered around a bucket. But behind the curtain, it's industrial farming, corner cutting, and reheated chicken disguised as fresh. Remember that original recipe chicken isn't just seasoned with herbs and spices. It's seasoned with recycled oil, lab-engineered flavor enhancers, and a whole lot of marketing, smoke, and mirrors. Number 5, Subway's fresh footlong. Subway sells itself as the healthier fast food option. Fresh veggies laid out in neat little bins, bread baking in ovens, meats sliced and ready. It all screams better choice compared to greasy burgers and fried chicken. But here's the shocking truth. That Eat Fresh slogan, it's more marketing than reality. Let's start with the bread. Back in 2014, it was exposed that Subway bread contained a chemical called azotocarbonamide. Sounds scientific, right? Well, it's the same chemical used in yoga mats and shoe rubber to make them stretchy. Imagine biting into your sandwich and unknowingly chewing on a chemical that was never meant for human consumption. After public outrage, Subway promised to remove it but food. Experts still point out that the bread is highly processed, packed with preservatives and sugar, making it closer to cake than bread. So much for a healthy base. Now, the meat. You see those slices of turkey, ham, or chicken, and they look like they just came from a deli counter. In reality, they're far from fresh. Subway's meats are often pre-cooked, frozen, and packed with fillers. Some chicken strips tested in Canada were found to contain only about 50% real chicken. The rest was soy protein and additives. Think about that. Half of what you're eating isn't even chicken. It's an engineered blend designed to cut costs while tricking your taste buds. And then there's the tuna scandal. In 2021, independent lab tests suggested that Subway's 100% tuna sandwiches contained no actual tuna DNA. Instead, the samples pointed to a mix of other fish species and fillers. Subway, of course, denied it, but the controversy left a lasting stain on their reputation. Customers started asking, if they're not honest about tuna, what else are they hiding? Let's not forget portion control. Subway's famous foot-long sandwich, multiple lawsuits, revealed that many of them didn't measure up to 12 inches at all. Some were as short as 11 inches. It sounds like a small detail, but when you build your brand on size and freshness, even an inch short feels like a betrayal. And those veggies that look so colorful in the trays? Workers have admitted on forums that many are pre-cut, shipped in bags, and soaked in preservatives to keep them looking crisp. That fresh tomato slice might have been cut a week ago in a factory, not by the employees smiling behind the counter. Here's the biggest hidden truth. Subway markets itself as customizable, giving you control of your meal. But the illusion of choice is just that, an illusion. You can pick your bread, your meat, your toppings, but every option is built on the same foundation of processed ingredients, sodium overload, and hidden chemicals. That footlong in your hands might look like a healthier choice, but peel back the marketing, and you'll find a trail of shortcuts, hidden ingredients, and a reality far from fresh. Subway's story isn't about health, it's about illusion. Number 4. Pizza Hut's cheese that isn't just cheese. Let's be real for a second. When you see a Pizza Hut commercial, the first thing that grabs you is that dramatic cheese pull, the gooey stretch, the steam rising, the close-up, shot that makes you believe you're about to bite into pure mozzarella heaven. But here's the kicker. That cheese isn't always cheese. Real mozzarella is simply milk, enzymes, and salt. That's it. But for a chain as massive as Pizza Hut, that doesn't cut it. They rely on industrial suppliers who create engineered cheese blends. These aren't just dairy, they're bulked up with starches, oils, and preservatives. Why? Because real mozzarella melts inconsistently, but these blends are designed to stay gooey and stretchy under heat lamps for hours. So that picture-perfect cheese pull, you see, it's not Italian tradition, it's food science. Here's where it gets worse. Insiders have revealed that part of the reason Pizza Hut's cheese tastes the same, no matter which store you go to, is because it isn't natural cheese. It's a standardized product. Real mozzarella has variations in flavor, but Pizza Hut's cheese never changes. That's because it's been tweaked in labs to hit the same salty, creamy note every single time. It's less about authenticity, more about industrial efficiency. And then there are the substitutes. Some locations have been caught using cheese, products that legally can't even be called cheese. These are made from soy protein, starch, and hydrogenated oils. To your eyes, they melt like mozzarella. To your taste buds, they're close enough. But in reality, it's a dairy imposter, basically a food industry magic trick. Imagine thinking you're enjoying mozzarella, when really you're biting into something closer to edible plastic. And don't even get me started on the dough. Pizza Hut likes to market it as freshly made, but in truth, much of it is factory produced, frozen, and shipped across states. By the time it hits your plate, that fresh base has already been thawed and processed long, before the toppings ever touch it. I remember once a friend said to me, Pizza Hut cheese never really tastes like mozzarella. It just stretches. At the time, I laughed it off. But after learning about these scandals, it all made sense. The illusion of authenticity is carefully staged. It's less about tradition and more about controlling perception. Number 3, Domino's garlic bread pizza crust. You know that moment when the Domino's delivery guy shows up at your door? That unmistakable garlic butter smell hits before the box is even open, It feels warm, familiar, almost comforting, like you're about to bite into something homemade. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That buttery, garlicky magic? It's not real butter at all. That buttery crust? It's not fresh butter at all. It's a pre-made dough brushed with a garlic-flavored oil blend that often contains margarine substitutes, artificial flavorings, and preservatives designed to survive months in a freezer. What you're tasting is a formula, not freshness. And here's where it gets darker. For years, Domino's dough recipes contained an additive called L-cysteine. Sounds harmless, right? Until you find out where it comes from. L-cysteine is an amino acid that softens dough, making it easy to roll and bake in bulk. The problem? The cheapest source for this additive has historically been human. Hair and duck feathers. Yes, barbershop floors and slaughterhouse byproducts. Imagine tearing apart a fluffy slice of garlic bread, knowing part of that softness was once scraped off a barber's floor. Domino's claimed to phase it out, but the fact that it was ever there should make you think twice about what edible really means in fast food. And let's talk about that smell. You know how the garlic aroma seems to stick in your car long after you've picked up your order? That's not an accident. Industry insiders revealed that fast food chains like Domino's test aroma sprays and engineered packaging designed to pump out that irresistible garlic butter scent. In other words, the smell isn't always coming from the bread itself. It's marketing disguised as flavor. You're not just eating with your mouth, you're eating with your nose. And Domino's knows precisely how to manipulate that. Then there's the cheese illusion. That stretchy, melty topping on garlic bread or stuffed crust. You think it's pure mozzarella, but most of the time, it's a cheese blend, engineered with oils, starches, and powdered dairy to melt uniformly under high heat. It looks perfect. It stretches perfectly, but it's far from the real thing you'd shred at home. Number 2, Chick-fil-A's healthy grilled chicken. Chick-fil-A has built a reputation as the clean fast food chain. Polite staff, spotless dining rooms, and chicken that feels lighter than your average greasy burger joint. Their grilled chicken sandwich, especially, gets praised as the healthy option. But here's the reality. What looks like a simple piece of grilled chicken is actually a product of intense food engineering. First off, the chicken itself. You probably think it's just a simple breast, marinated and thrown on a grill. Nope. Chick-fil-A soaks its grilled fillets in a chemical-heavy marinade, packed with phosphates. Those phosphates lock in water, making the meat look plump and juicy. Sounds smart, right? The same chemicals have been linked to kidney and heart problems when eaten regularly. So that juiciness, it's food science, not farm fresh. Magic. And that smoky backyard flavor? Don't imagine an open flame in the kitchen. It's all liquid smoke and artificial seasonings engineered to trick your taste buds. That's why every sandwich tastes the same. It's copy-paste consistency made in a lab, not on a grill. Now, let's talk sourcing. Chick-fil-A's ads love to show happy farms and hand-raised chickens. Reality? The meat comes from massive industrial suppliers where birds are, packed into high-density sheds, fattened up with growth feed, and raised in conditions that are anything but clean. And while the company proudly marketed its no antibiotics ever policy, investigations found loopholes, meaning their promise wasn't as ironclad as they made it sound. Chick-fil-A has faced repeated scrutiny over its supply chain and misleading claims about quality. Reports as recent as 2021 pointed out that the brand's wholesome image doesn't always line up with the reality behind closed doors. If Chick-fil-A has mastered anything, it's perception control, convincing people they're eating something purer and safer while hiding the industrial truth. The hidden reality? When you bite into that grilled chicken sandwich, you're not eating simplicity. You're eating engineered flavors, preservatives, and a carefully crafted illusion that just feels healthy. Number 1. Panera Bread's Broccoli Cheddar Soup. Panera's Broccoli Cheddar Soup is the chain's superstar. Creamy, cheesy, and served in that famous bread bowl. It feels wholesome, comforting, and clean. But here's the reality. What looks like fresh, hand-prepared soup is actually a factory-made product, wrapped in marketing lies. For years, Panera sold the idea that your soup was simmered in kitchens daily. The truth? Every bowl of broccoli cheddar soup comes from centralized factories, sealed in giant plastic bags, frozen and shipped across the country. Employees don't cook it. They just boil the bags until they're hot enough to serve. This was exposed in 2019 when a viral TikTok of a Panera worker dunking a frozen soup bag in boiling water blew up online. Instead of denying it, Panera admitted it. But here's where it gets darker. Whistleblower employees have claimed that managers sometimes used soup bags beyond their expiration date, or even resealed damaged ones, just to cut waste. Imagine sipping clean food that may have been sitting in a freezer for months, or worse, should have been thrown away. And while Panera brags about its 2017 no artificial additives policy, lawsuits and investigations revealed cracks in the promise. Their beloved soups still contained preservatives, modified starches, and industrial flavor enhancers. A 2020 lawsuit even accused Panera of misleading customers with the phrase, "clean ingredients," because not all items matched the advertised standard. Here's another shocker. Nutritionists point out that a single bowl of this soup can pack as much sodium as a full day's worth of salt. That comforting, healthy choice? It's quietly straining your heart while Panera sells you the fantasy of wellness. The biggest scandal? Panera has mastered the art of illusion. They've turned a factory frozen soup into a wellness product through clever branding and cozy cafe vibes. When you dip your spoon into that golden cheesy broth, remember you're not tasting farm-fresh cooking. You're tasting corporate food science and a billion-dollar marketing trick.